Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Shabbos between Yom Kippur and Sukkos, the 4 days. We know the 4 days correspond to the 4 letters of Hashem's name, and specifically the first day after Yom Kippur is called God's Day. And we don't say Tachner now. The Rebbe Rashab was asked by his son, the Frierdiker Rebbe, after Yom Kippur, what do we do now? And he says, now specifically we have to start doing tshuva after Yom Kippur. So we're in these very special days, in the special month, and a special parsha. Shabbos Ha'azinu, we know, is a bracha for Ashiras. The Rebbe Rashab, the Frierdiker Rebbe said that in the name of the Magadim is rich, that if a person knew, if a business person knew the kind of brachas, knowing well Shabbos Ha'azinu, they would be much more careful with it. So one of the ideas it says in Ha'azinu, like we learned in the Maimer this week, it says Yimtze'eu be'eretz midbar. This is in Aliyah of the Aliyah, I think, of Wednesday, where it's talking about, or Tuesday, it's talking about the Kichelek Avaya Amoy. It's a whole conversation about who is the Jewish person. That the Jewish person is a Chelek Avaya. A Jewish person is a portion of Hashem. Meaning to say that every person has a Nefesh Elikis, has a godly soul that's a Chelek Elikai Mimal Mamash, a portion of Hashem. And nevertheless, Yimtze'eu Be'eretz Midbar. That the question is, what are we doing in the desert? A desert's not a place for a person, especially not a place for a Jewish person, like the Rebbe says, not even a place to be passing through. A desert, a place is loy odam sham. It's not a place of a person to live, to grow, to achieve. We know that there's the city and the field, that the city is relying on the field, even the field, which you say the king is in the field, that the king is in the field and the city lives off the growth of the field, but still the field is a dangerous place. It's the field of Esav, it's the world. It represents being out in the world where a person is vulnerable. But the desert is mamish, a place that a person doesn't belong there. There's no growth there, there's no possibility there. So nevertheless, the Rashi says Yimtze'eu be'eretz midbar is that we followed God into the desert. That's a schus, like we say in the Haftorah of Rosh Hashanah, Lech tech achrei b'midbar. But it's also the idea of that although we're a Chelek Hashem, where does God find us? He finds us in the desert in a negative way. And there's a question: what are you doing in the desert? And then the pasuk continues that the Hashem watches us over. Kinesher yer yakinay al goizel of yirachiv. That Hashem has the compassion of the eagle. The compassion of the eagle is the great compassion that's kinesher. Means if we look at the great compassion as the eagle has of its young ones, how it hovers over them and protects them from anything, notwithstanding of the fact that we were found in the desert, it awakens that a person should realize that when you think about the great Nesher HaGodel of Hashem, the great compassion Hashem has, and the compassion He has to have for the fact that we are found in the desert, that should awaken within us the tshuva and the return, that we turn it around. Even being in the desert, we turn it around, and because of the compassion that we feel for the Nefesh Elikis, for the Chelek Avaya, for the portion of God that's in us, we say, what are we doing in the desert? And we turn it around. And here comes the end of the Maimer, that's something beautiful. The Rebbe says something incredible, that the word Yimtze'ehu comes from the word Mitzia. Mitzia means like something that's lost. Again, like we know, you can only find something that's lost where you lost it, and therefore if we lost ourselves in the desert of life, we have to find ourselves there. But at the same time, an idea of a Mitzia is something special. When a person loses something, they don't expect to find it again. And when you find it, it brings great simcha. You never imagined you would find it again. That's why it's called a mitzvah. A mitzvah is something that is so much greater than your efforts. If a person invests themselves in something and gets a return on it, it's not a mitzvah. If you work and you get paid, it's not. You don't get a lost item. When the paycheck comes to you, it's not like, wow, I could never imagine I would get paid. If that's the relationship, it's a problem. But the idea of a mitzvah is something you didn't expect. It's much greater than your efforts. And it says that when Hashem finds the Jewish person in the desert, not just in the negative, but He sees from the compassion that awakens within the person turns it around. Coming from Yom Kippur, going into Sukkos, building the Sukkah, the Makiv, the protective space. He sees how we've turned it around, notwithstanding that we're in the desert. It's like a mitzvah. It's like something lost. God never imagined when He sent us down to this world. And we were open to go into the city, to the field, all the way to the desert. So much so, like we said, in the month of Elul, Hamelech B'Sada, the king's in the Sada. He doesn't go to the desert. The Alter Rebbe says clearly, he doesn't go to the Midbar. The people from the Midbar have to leave the Midbar to go to the field. But when God sees that we turn it around in the desert, that's a mitzvah. It's something that He never would imagine. So it's a bracha for the Jewish people that we're coming out of Yom Kippur. This is what stands for us and stood for us all the generations and should stand for us to bless us. The coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu, we should all celebrate Sukkos here in Yerushalayim, Kodesh. Good Shabbos and good Yom Tov.